And the final thing we'll want to do in our setup is just like a regular old control panel thing. So, universal settings that we want to define once and reference a bunch of times. This one can get its own special fancy color, like a blue, because it doesn't matter if we can see if the display tag is on or not. Remember, we can go to parameters and channels, edit parameter interface. Let's make a new folder right here, and we'll just call it controls, because we don't really care about all the transform stuff that it does. So if I say apply, you can see we have like a blank slate here now. We'll start adding things to it more or less later, but one thing that I know right off the bat that I'm going to want is going to be a place to define materials that we're using. So I'm going to put a string in here, and this type of string is going to be an operator path, and an op meaning a node. So there's going to be three main materials, let's say colors in here, and one's going to be the outside material, so we'll call this outmat. And if you see, if I apply it, I'll be able to choose the material from here. So we'll say like outmat, and we're gonna want an inside mat. This will be for like the dirt that becomes exposed. And then we're gonna also want a burned mat, which will just kind of be maybe a darker color, also on the ones that are inside. So now we'll have those ready to go. And while we're at it, we can also throw in some colors. And I'll throw them in between, so that we have a nice color representation also while we're in the viewport. So I'll say out color, outside color. This will be like brown. The inside one, or rather the outside will be essentially gray. The inside one will be brown, and then the burn one will be a darker brown or a blackish look. Inside color, in color. And for the record, you can say, if you use a space here, look at that, puts an underscore for you. How convenient. So burn color. So now we got a nice little thing going here. So outside, we'll make that like a gray. So something like that. And then the inside color will be this brown looking thing. Maybe it's a little bit warmer than that. And the burn color, we'll just take the one that we just did and we'll make it just darker. We'll change this around later, but I think this is a good jumping off point. And let's actually throw those materials down now. They can be just principled shaders like that, or we'll just make one and we'll copy them. So the principled shader, this will be the outside. We don't want this reflectivity on. Turn that down to 1 to make it not reflective. So the outside, again, will basically be like 0.4, 0.4, 0.4 like we were doing before. We'll talk a little bit more about the materials later, but it'll be nice to have this set up now so that our viewport and any like test renders that we want to do will be more or less set up and ready to go. Let's also turn off use point color. Cool. So we got outside. I'm here in the matte area. Outside, we'll make the inside. We'll make the burn. Inside, again, we'll just make it like that. Maybe a little bit warmer. The burn can be the same thing again. I think I still have it stored here. Okay, something like that. So finally, we'll just point to those. We can just drag them up onto, whoopsies. I'm a liar to myself. Oh, material palette, you're ruining my day. Well, this is why we have the, I have my cool style thing here where I split these. If you haven't watched another one of my lessons before, I usually run like this. where I have split these apart and tie them. This is 1 and 1 here, and this is 2 and 2 here. So now I can say control panel here, matte here, and I can just drag this to here. Like that. All right. So, I know that was a lot of setup, but now our lives are going to be much easier because we got it all ready to go. And so, speaking of ready to go, let's move on.